At New York Comic Con, IDW Publishing has just announced its new Dark line of comics, which will feature an exciting slate of horror titles, including comic versions of films like A Quiet Place, Event Horizon, Sleepy Hollow, and Smile, along with a Twilight Zone series. For fans of horror comics, this is a thrilling new era for the genre courtesy of IDW. With this announcement fresh out of NYCC, specific details about each of these series are scarce, and for now, all fans of these franchises can do is speculate. Still, iconic properties like Twilight Zone, an anthology series, and the horror classic Event Horizon offer limitless potential for comic book adaptations, and it will be similarly exciting to find out how the other titles IDW announced. IDW did not specify which comics might be sequels or adaptations, but in either case, this is exciting news for fans of all things horror. Flesh out their respective properties. What IDW Dark's roster of film properties means for horror fans. First announced at New York Comic Con 2024. Comic books, especially those from IDW, have only gained momentum for the horror genre in recent years. Much of IDW's library are original titles, more often than not, and the publisher largely focuses on horror. Some of IDW's best comics are horror stories, so the publication are the right fit for this ambitious move. Following up on horror movies by way of the new IDW Dark line puts IDW into a whole new territory, making them even more of a horror juggernaut. According to IDW's announcement of the Dark imprint, implementing beloved titles, new and old, from the horror movie genre only illustrates exactly how vital the comic medium have become for horror fans, in particular pioneered by IDW. If fans of these beloved cinematic classics want the full scope of their lore, they must pick up the comics that IDW Dark will be releasing to get the full story. Speaking of the stories themselves, IDK Dark could prove just as resourceful to the respective horror franchises themselves as they will be for the publisher. Our take on IDW Dark's planned adaptations. IDW Dark is an exciting new evolution of the publisher's horror comics pedigree. The beauty of this new partnership is that it gives IDW the opportunity to tell old stories in new ways. Many of these franchises have already had multiple sequels and remakes retelling or rebooting the original concept of their stories. However, most of these stories have seldom, if ever, been told in the comic book space, with IDW Publishing giving writers and artists unique opportunities to play with the stories with never-before-seen visuals and storytelling using classic titles like A Quiet Place, Twilight Zone, and more.